instead of saying, you know what, Joseph was right. I apologize to Joseph Ziegler. I apologize to Gary Shapley, Abby Lowell, Hunter's attorney, the Democrats who are running cover for the Bidens seem to be doubling down on you guys are just, you're still confused. You're still confused. For example, we've heard the chief cheerleader for the Bidens is Dan Goldman. And this was Dan Goldman over the summer. This would have been before the current indictments were brought, but while they were trying to shove this plea deal through, trying to explain your testimonials that Congress had received. Take a listen to him, SOT 21.
I think they are good faith actors who misconstrue the third-hand information that they received. And I think that, like many law enforcement agents, they want to charge every possible crime, but they are not responsible for making that decision because they're not the ones who have to prove it in court. And ultimately, I think they worked really hard. I think they were frustrated that the case didn't move forward as they had hoped after all their hours. They were frustrated that they were removed from the case after there were significant leaks to the Washington Post, and they're expressing their frustration in this way.
A lot in there, clearly implying that you guys leaked and got removed from the case because you're leakers. And now you're just frustrated because you two dumb old IRS agents who don't know anything like the big, bad, brilliant federal prosecutors, you just didn't understand that there wasn't a case here to be brought. And that really frustrated you. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think it's really important that people understand, not in addition to our testimony, we provided, I think I turned over 6 additional affidavits, thousands of pages of documents to support my whistleblower claims. And it's frustrating to hear that, but I expected it. As a whistleblower, you expect people to attack you. And it's why I've turned over things like I turned over my performance reviews. I'm a highly rated employee at the IRS. And I think that was important, that I'm not a disgruntled employee. I actually brought up examples of a case where I worked that was super complex, that we didn't agree on the charging and we moved forward with that. And that was something that, okay, that made sense. But in this case, all 4 attorneys agreed for the felony and misdemeanor charges. They brought forward only misdemeanor charges. And then he ends up getting special counsel. That plea agreement falls apart, ends up getting special counsel. And now we see the full picture of the indictment presented in front of everybody. And I think it's important that people read through our most recent testimony to Congress, the closed door testimony. They read through that indictment. They see the conduct that was done over the last, I think it's since 2014 is the first date that they start talking about things in the indictment. But I think it's important that your audience reads that.
What's amazing is you have Dan Goldman and others saying, I mean, really, he's basically saying you're too dumb to understand, like the person who went to law school, that there's no case here. There is no felony to be brought. And the perfect irony of the fact that David Weiss, under this political pressure, was ultimately made, quote, special counsel, which is different from special attorney, as we explained. And he is the one who brought the very charges that the big-brained one, he was smarter and he knew you couldn't bring these charges. Oh, so weird how he had that perfect 180 and wound up bringing all the charges that hadn't yet expired based on all of your work. So where do you go to get your reputation back, which I'm sure is one of your questions?
Yeah, I mean, from talking to previous whistleblowers, it's very hard for us to return back to some normalcy. I never wanted to do this. I tried to blow the whistle internally at the IRS, and I was shunned. I was told I might have broken the law and that I should cease and desist from doing that. I tried internally telling people higher than me what was going on. We did it for years. And I think I want in the future, I don't want people to go through what Gary and I have gone through. There needs to be some policy. There needs to be some law in there that prevents this from happening again. David Weiss shouldn't have been allowed to go to another president-appointed U.S. attorney to bring forward these charges when they're trying to leave out this political bias. So all those things we really need to reflect on, and in order for us to move forward, like we need change.
Negative dings on credit reports happen to all sorts of people from all socioeconomic backgrounds. Understanding the credit landscape can be extremely tough, and spending the time to dispute and repair these so-called dings can be a full-time job. Good luck to you if you already have one of those or kids or anything going on in your life. For starters, you have to deal with 3 separate credit bureaus, which is a massive headache and unpleasant. It's also a common misconception that people with poor credit scores are just those who don't pay their credit card bills. These actually can be very hardworking people who are negatively affected by divorce, identity theft, medical debt, student loans, or some such thing. And they just don't have the time, or they're just too overwhelmed to fix it. But if you don't address negative credit items, they can haunt you for years to come. And when it counts the most, like getting a mortgage at a competitive rate. Well, the good news is that our sponsor, Lexington Law, wants to help. Go to lexingtonlaw.com and start today with a free consultation and review. Tell them Megyn sent you at lexingtonlaw.com. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.